Politics and government is one of the mountains of society. And I would have to say Fétine Grzeski, she was Fétine Kreskow years ago. We used to go on Parliament Hill and pray, and she led teams to meet with MPs and in Parliament. What she did for the nation, she did a very good job of teaching the nation over a period of time the importance of knowing, first of all, knowing what's going on in government. Second of all, predicting that if we don't get involved, here's where the nation is going. And she did a good job of awakening the Canadian church to pray for the government and the nation and to get active in government. So kudos to Canada in the area of going after the influence of government. Now, the challenge though here is, now that she's done such a good job of it, and others, I don't just want to highlight her, but she's done such an effective job of this that the Canadian church began to think, oh, that's the way you disciple the nation. You know, Canadians began to think, oh, okay, so this is the way you disciple the nation, is you pray and you influence government. And that led into the belief that if we can only get a righteous prime minister, the whole nation would be changed. So we went from one default, which was if we can just pray and fast enough and enter some secret heavenly access code, we can get God to disciple the nation. And then the other default we moved over to now is that if we can just get a righteous prime minister in power, then the nation will be saved. And it actually doesn't work that way. It would be hugely influential to have a Christian or righteous principled prime minister. In fact, we're going for that right now. It will bring change to the nation. It will turn a chapter to the nation. Let me just say that. But don't underestimate the power of an awakened church on a grassroots level right across the country. And if you study revivals and moves of God and where nations have gone into transformation, it hasn't been that finally a righteous president or leader got in and the whole nation changed. It actually was a righteous leader coming into power actually was a result of an awakened grassroots church because they voted that way or because they stood against certain demonic ideologies and evil belief systems. If you wake up the church on a grassroots level, you'll get the government leader that you're looking for. When you do it the opposite way, if you believe that if only we can get a righteous prime minister in, will it accomplish something? Big time. It sets a new tide. I'm not taking away from that, but prime ministers and presidents come into power and they come out of power. And, you know, you've still got to win the minds of Canadian citizens. I mean, you've got a nation now where its citizens, if you take a poll on this and you get into statistics, you find out the majority don't even want certain moral values. Like we the church, the church is the government of God on earth. And if you wake up the church, you wake up every sphere of society. So I'm not saying it's either or. I'm just saying from what I've seen, a righteous government is a result of a righteous, active church. If you do get somebody in power, though, which we're hoping for, I was on a tremendous Zoom call with a number of leaders across the country, and we are pushing for a righteous leader to come into power, to lead the Conservative Party. She's a woman. She's a strong woman. She's wonderful. I'm a big fan. And that would create great change. And that would create a ripple effect throughout our nation. But we still got to wake up the church.